getting set to go ARCA Series racing right here at Kansas Speedway.
Thank you guys for your hard work. Let's go do it.
This is the moment we have all been waiting for. It wins at Kansas Speedway. And we welcome you to Kansas Speedway, located on the Kansas-Missouri border, just outside of Kansas City. This is the Dutch Boy 150, and it is a beautiful day. A little bit steamy out there, about 86 degrees for these drivers and crews. And they've already had a practice session. It's going to be a long day. But now the last time these teams were on track was 3 weeks ago. Talladega Super Speedway. And of course, what you expect from a super speedway race. We had frustrated drivers, we had great racing, and we had some spins, Phil.
Yeah, that was actually the spin that was technically ended the race. The caution came out. We were at our prescribed distance. And you see right there, Nick Sanchez was just barely ahead and got the victory, his second in his career in the ARCA Series.
That was a great day indeed for Nick Sanchez. He's actually the defending winner of this race, and right now he's standing by with our Kate Osborne.
Jamie, defending winner, and of course that Talladega win. It's definitely set Nick Sanchez in a positive way here as we continue on the season. How are these wins really impacting your career?
Yeah, you know, obviously in the sport, I feel like if you win, you have a better chance of moving up, and obviously that helped me create some more opportunities in the Xfinity side with 6 more races. But yeah, I feel like it's something you can't go wrong with a win.
That's absolutely correct. And a win here in Kansas, you're starting third. What's the strategy to kind of make this thing come alive today?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of keeping up with the track, and I feel like I learned that the hard way last year, so just trying to keep up with the track and the conditions and see where we are at the end.
As you keep up with that, something that I was trying to keep up with was your dinner last night. You had said that's a real reason that you like Kansas. What is that all about?
They have really good steak, and I got the same one I got last year, so I'm hoping it turns out to be the same thing.
Hey, it's sometimes about the food, guys.
Hey, whatever it takes, right? You got to get momentum on your side. I think Nick Sanchez has it. So we welcome you in. I'm Jamie Little, of course, joined by Phil Parsons. And for the second race in a row, Daytona 500 champion Austin Cindric joins us. And Austin, we've had one practice so far today. I don't know, there's mixed emotions out there. What did you see from that practice session?
You know, I think when you come to Kansas in the ARCA Menard Series, this is, next to Michigan, one of the biggest, fastest racetracks we go to. We get to mile-and-a-half racetracks. I feel like in order to move up through the ranks, you got to be good at racetracks like this. So you got a really tight points battle for the lead, and I think all 3 of those guys are going to be racing for the win today. They're starting all the way up at the front, so I'm excited to see who moves around, who makes the moves, and who follows with the racetrack.
Yeah, and it's really interesting when you look at the drivers who've won here, what it's done for their career. And there's a lot of drivers that want to have a breakout moment here. Who are you watching, Phil?
Well, I think just like Austin was talking about Nick Sanchez, and he told us just a few moments ago that opened up some opportunities when he won this race here last year. It opened up an opportunity for his Xfinity race. He's already run one. He's got 6 more now. They just announced this week. It did the same thing for Corey Heim 2 years ago. It opened up a full-time ride in the ARCA Menard Series for him at Venturinis, and he and Ty Gibbs went head-to-head all year long. He won 6 races last year, and now he's moved up to the Truck Series. I think the same thing could happen to somebody like Rajah Caruth, Daniel Dye. Those young men have shown the speed, and I think they're going to be contenders today, along with Sanchez. And Drew Dollar also is getting his feet wet a little bit in the Xfinity Series with Joe Gibbs Racing. It's another opportunity for him to showcase his talent. He's got 2 more races in that car here this week, and then at Charlotte, and then Sammy Smith will step in that car. But I talked to Drew Dollar this morning. He's so excited. He said, I know I followed this car. I finished second to this car last year in the spring race because Ty won that race, dominated that race. He said, I know how good that car is. I need to get it done.
And I know people may be watching going, okay, it's a mile-and-a-half track. How hard could it be? But, you know, Cup drivers like yourself, you guys make it look so easy. But when you go in that garage and you talk to these drivers, many of them have never raced at this style of track before and raced here. They're thinking about a lot of things. How to get in the corner. Can you flat-foot it through the corner? And how close is too close to get to the wall?
Well, I think one of the big things that you don't get all the time when you're racing in the ARCA Menard Series is you're worried about aero, you're worried about people on your door, you're worried about what the difference is in, traffic, whether if you're going to be loose, whether if you're going to be tight, different situations that you don't get at a short track. You don't get it, even at a super speedway. So trying to be able to learn that on the fly, a lot of these guys are going to be, and girls are going to be figuring this out today and understanding what their cars do in aero situations. We all practice in clean air. Now it's time to race in dirty air.
And one of those drivers is a female who's racing for the championship this year, Amber Balcaen. Let's take a look at Amber and where she comes from. She's actually a Canadian driver. Grew up in Manitoba, Winnipeg. Always wanted to race. You see it there. First Canadian woman to win a NASCAR race there. And just recently married her high school sweetheart, Canadian football player Jordan Reeves. She's a motivational speaker. She does it all. She's so outgoing. And Kate, I know, she told me this morning she is living her dream.
It's all about learning for Amber Balcaen here this season, making your way slowly but surely up the ranks. What have you done to prepare for this weekend? You mentioned it's all about preparation.
Yeah, we've done a lot to prepare to make sure that our Icon Direct first form car is fast for Kansas, and it's been a lot of simulator time, a lot of watching video in-car past races, and then just looking at past data and training hard in the gym, both physically and with sensory cognitive skills as well.
We talk about opportunities that presented, and then you have to jump on them. How are you going to do that today?
Just make the most of every lap. I'm here to learn, I'm here to progress, and as long as I can do all 100 laps, then that means I'm learning. And that's to finish first you must finish. So it's really just about making the opportunity of each and every lap and trying to get to the front.
Rookie season here, Amber. How much fun are you actually having?
I am having so much fun. Like I was telling Jamie Little, I wake up every race day, I'm like, this is better than Christmas. I'm just all smiles all race day. I'm so grateful to be here. I wouldn't be here without the help of Icon Direct, RV parts manufacturer in my home province of Manitoba. I wouldn't be here without them, so I'm just so grateful to be here racing against the best.
Best of luck out there. Amber looking to get her first top 10 finish today. And how about that, Jamie? Christmas here at the racetrack, huh?
Yes, Kate, nothing beats that enthusiasm. And I'll tell you, nobody in the field works harder out of the race car than Amber Balcaen. Well, remember, tomorrow at 9 a.m., head over to the ARCA Menard Series Twitter page. It's at @ARCA_racing to vote on what moment you think was today's sweet move of the race presented by Reese's. And of course, you know we're going to have a lot of opportunities for sweet moments. As you see the drivers and teams getting ready for action, the Dutch Boy 150 is coming up. Welcome back to Kansas Speedway as we get ready for the Dutch Boy 150. As you see our pole sitter, Corey Heim, getting locked and ready for the race. Drew Dollar in the number 18 today. Nick Sanchez gets ready. We have a doubleheader today, but tomorrow it's all about the Cup Series here at Kansas Speedway at 3 o'clock Eastern on FS1. Of course, pre-race. Race day starts at 1:30 Eastern, and we will have everything covered for you. And you know, all those drivers like Austin Cindric to my right, watching, seeing what happens on track today and this evening for the Truck Series as well. See all the teams lined up and ready for today. A lot of nerves. Connor Mosack, newer driver to the series, excited to see what he can do. Daniel Dye climbs aboard. Let's go trackside now for the command to fire these engines.
And now, race fans, here to say the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome National Account Manager for Sherwin-Williams and Dutch Boy, Larry Elmore.
On behalf of Dutch Boy and our retail partners, Sherwin-Williams and Menards, I would like to now give the words that everybody's been waiting for. Drivers, start your engines.
Pull those belts tight one more time as the drivers continue to get ready. We have 150 miles of action coming up. You're watching the ARCA Menard Series on FS1.
It's and Jason Jarrett, grandson of Ned Jarrett and Dale's son, was the winner. but it's the champions that have been crowned here who made ARCA Menards Series history. 10-time series champion Frank Kimmel won 3 times at Kansas. In 2002, he led 99 of the 134 laps on his way to victory. And in 2006, Kimmel won in Kansas again. But it was Frank Kimmel's win in 2013 that was the most historically relevant of his career.
With his 10th championship in his pocket, this is the historic 80th win for Frank Kimmel.
Kimmel clinched his 10th championship earlier in the weekend, but the race win was Kimmel's 80th in ARCA Menards Series competition. And that broke a tie with 6-time champion Iggy Katona for most wins in series history.
This place runs deep with history with ARCA Menards Series, NASCAR, you name it, since 2001. And there was one name there that was kind of the common denominator, Kimmel. And we've got a Kimmel in the field today, Phil.
Absolutely. I was there for this race that Frank Kimmel won, that 80th race. And that meant so much because I was around for a lot of Iggy Katona's wins. Iggy started well before I was born, but I saw because he raced against my brother Benny when my brother was a 2-time champion in the series. What a great human being. And it was so gratifying to see Frank, as hard as he worked, his 10th championship and that win at 2013 here.
Yes, and Will Kimmel's in the 69, so we'll see him today. Now, earlier today, just a couple hours ago, the General Tire Pole Award was won by Mr. Corey Heim. He did it again. Now, it was a 45-minute practice session, and the fastest lap set today's lineup. So Corey Heim gets it done, not what the rest of the competition wanted to see.
Now, they don't want him to have any advantage whatsoever.
And of course, you got Drew Dollar in the 18 on the outside. Well, as you take a look at the General Tire starting grid, let's dial up Raja Karuth. He's been making a splash in the ARCA Menards Series this year. He's starting 8th today.
Hey, Raja, Phil Parsons up in the Fox booth with the game. You got a copy?
What's good, Phil?
Hey, buddy, how does point leader sound to you?
That's pretty good, but job is not finished. Still got 16 races left to go in the season, and name of the game is consistency. So Chevy's going to be fast today and the rest of the year, and it's up to me to do my job.
Well, Raja, we were talking before we went on the air about how impressive you have been in the very little time that you've actually been racing. We know you came from an iRacing background. We saw Corey Heim win this race in Kansas 2 years ago. We saw Nick win this race, your teammate, last year. What would a win here mean for you, Raja?
Yeah, I mean, it'd mean the world, just to say the least. You know, a lot of people, including my family, have worked really hard to get me to this spot, and getting the first one today would be certainly not, you know, the end of it, but a good step along the way, a milestone moment, and it'd mean the world to us.
Well, appreciate you talking to us. Have a great ride, buddy.
10-4. Thanks, Phil.
Nice young man. Got his head on straight, very focused for today's race.
Just finished his 2nd year at Winston-Salem State. When it was junior year. And
yes.
Yeah,
smart inside the race car and outside the race car. Speaking of smart, let's go to the pits and check in with Kate Osborne. Kate, what storylines are you watching today?
Well, today we're watching Corey Heim. It's 5th time here at Kansas. One of those was his first ARCA win. And of course, Jamie, as you mentioned, he's a pole sitter today. But a bit of a shakeup for Corey Heim in the number 20 team, as the usual crew chief, Shannon Rush, is out with his daughter's graduation. Congratulations to the family. But the team owner, Billy Venturini, is sitting on top of the box. Now, Corey did tell me that it is going to be a little bit weird not having Shannon here after 2 years. But one area he feels that he has excelled as a driver is the fact that he can adapt quickly. And he said that adaptability is one of the reasons why he feels like he's had a solid track record here at Kansas. He said it's 3 lanes, people move around, and it really is a racer's track. And when that track changes, he said, don't be surprised if you see me move up to the top there really quick. He said that is where the fun is here at Kansas.
Thank you, Kate. And adaptability is the name of the game. He's already been on the track in 2 different series today. Now let's take a look at our onboards. 5 today. First up.
Yeah, we're going to ride along with Nick Sanchez. This is a General Tire onboard, and Nick will be starting from the 3rd spot.
Got the 18 of Drew Dollar with the Richmond Water Heaters on board. He's looking to challenge Corey Heim for this win today.
We're going to ride along with Amber Balkin. She's going to start from the 13th spot, just outside the top 10 at Talladega, looking for her first top 10. This is the Bounty Rookie Spotlight on board.
We got the number 69 of Will Kimmel with a big smile under that helmet with the Menards on board back in the field today.
And the number 43, Daniel Dye, the Solar Fit onboard. Now, Daniel Dye has been dealing with a personal issue since the last race at Talladega. An incident occurred with another classmate at his high school. He was arrested, and the charges have since been reduced. Now, on Friday, after reviewing his case, the ARCA Menards Series has reinstated him. And here's the Dutch Boy 150 race analysis.
As you can see, 150 miles, 100 laps. You see our first race was back here in 2001, won by Jason Jarrett. And we will have a competition caution on or around lap 50 to give these teams an opportunity to put fuel in and change tires.
Competition caution, and of course we have 2 sets of tires, so they can choose to take those when they want. Competition caution probably going to be the first opportunity, as talking to crew chiefs, they really don't want to waste a set of stickers before that point. Well, it's nice and hot. What are you thinking inside your helmet right now as you're getting ready to fire it up here at the green flag?
Well, decisions have already been made. Corey Heim's picked the top side for the restart, which I think that really shows, you know, as Kate talked about, he wants to run the top side here. He thinks there's going to be speed there. He's run a truck practice. I saw them move around in the truck practice, so that'd be interesting to see how that launch is. You know, you have a shorter distance on the bottom, so I think Drew Dollar's definitely licking his chops, trying to make the most of this opportunity in that 18 car.
Drew Dollar in the same exact car with the same exact team that won this race a year ago with Ty Gibbs. He and Ty Gibbs good friends too, so yeah, no pressure. Ty's watching, taking notes, letting him know what to do and what not to do.
Drew said this morning he woke up to a bunch of texts from Ty on what to do and what not to do.
Make good use of it, my friend.
Absolutely.
Pace car is off. Corey Heim will lead him. And we are racing in Kansas.
Pretty good start for Corey, a little tighter on the outside lane, so he should be able to get clear here into turn 1 and pick whatever lane he wants with clean air.
Didn't take these guys long to move around the racetrack. Look at Daniel Dye in the 3rd lane already.
Could give him a pretty good run down the back straight away, and that outside lane usually stays a little bit dominant for the first couple laps just because of that momentum. Really big speed here, big momentum racetrack, and Daniel Dye still working up high, getting really good run. Should be able to push that lane forward.
And this is the first time he's ever been on a mile-and-a-half track. Never practiced or anything. That practice session today was his first time ever.
Corey Heim, Drew Dollar, Nick Sanchez, your top 3.
Really going to get stuffed up by the 23 car here and have to shoot down the racetrack. So that really actually helped out Nick Sanchez and Rajah Proof, who looked like they were going to get stuck on the bottom.
That's the 23 of Connor Mosack, that Daniel Dye, the 43, is working his way around. That's the Brett Holmes owned car. Brett, former series champion here a couple years ago.
Connor Mosack right there, that beautiful car for Brett Holmes Racing, the number 23. Trans Am racer, running for the championship this year, did the same last year, but really trying to figure out this stock car thing and hasn't done a lot of ovals in his stock car, so he was looking forward to today. They really thought they'd have something to bring to the party today. As he goes side by side with Daniel Dye on the bottom.
Outside door, quarter, bumper, clear this time. Clear, let's roll.
We could hear how little the 43 of Daniel Dye was out of the throttle, just like he just breathed it for just a second over there.
Gus Dean in the 15. That Mobil 1 Toyota. Dean in the 6th position right now.
Starting to see all these guys work their way back to the bottom of the racetrack now that the restart's over, and I think it's going to take some rubber to get laid down before you kind of move back up and try and find some speed. Even Corey Heim's wrapping that white line right where the grip is, and it's take quite a few laps for Daniel Dye to work around the 23, and after he does, he's kind of pulling away and see what kind of speed he's got.
You know, you mentioned the truck practice, but it was only about a 20-minute practice. So when you have an hour practice, they can put so much more rubber down, but not a great deal of rubber put down by the truck series.
That's something I even pay attention to. You know, we have cup practice after this race is over, and you know, I know for a fact in our race on Sunday we're going to be moved around, going to third lane, and you got progressive banking here. So even when you look at the racetrack, trying to figure out, you know, what lane has the most grip.
Remember, these are General Tire radials on these ARCA Menards cars, where you guys will be on the Goodyear. Do you notice a difference from the General Tire rubber versus the Goodyear rubber, Austin?
I think there's a bit of a difference, even between Xfinity trucks and Cup. You know, there's a bit of a difference between all the tires. But I'm Group 2 today, so I'm not worried about it.
Let somebody else figure that out.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. You have a big day. We have Cup practice and qualifying coming up later today, 5 Eastern.
And a big truck race later on tonight.
Corey Heim has now led in 3 races this year, the most of all drivers. I'm sure the drivers behind him would like to learn a thing or two, but he is just checking out.
Yeah, he's been on the gas. Even you saw that shot of him exit in turn 4. There was no gap between the wall whatsoever, so you count on Corey being on the gas.
And extra track time as well. Obviously, we mentioned running the truck race. Also had a great qualifying run there, top 5.
Well, with Nick Sanchez talking about extra track time, got a few more Xfinity races lined up. I'm sure he's pumped about that. That's obviously a great opportunity, and his teammate as well got to do his first one at Dover. That's always great to be able to get experience and race with some really fast competitive cars.
Drew Dollar in the 18 has slipped back a couple of spots. Kate, what are they saying?
Well, they're actually just telling him to keep that momentum up. The team is saying grab that second lane and keep it up. But one thing to note about Drew Dollar, we know that equipment is quick. That was the one that Ty Gibbs had. But Drew Dollar was telling me before this race that, in fact, he needs to trust the equipment, and it's actually on him in this way. The car rolled off really great. He said he asked for some changes to tighten it up. Well, the team, after that practice, decided to make that a little bit freer to go back to what they originally had.
Thank you, Kate. Well, Corey Heim has led them all. Nick Sanchez, Raja Karuth, Drew Dollar, and Daniel Dye round out your top 5.
Make sure you
By Bounty, the quicker picker-upper. By Sioux Chief, America's manufacturer of plumbing, drainage, supply, and support products. And by Richmond Water Heaters, the water heater experts, available at Menards. And we're making a little history in the ARCA Menards Series race today. The first woman ever race director for an ARCA race. That's Tiffany Myrick. She started with NASCAR back in 2018. She was a safety inspector for all series in NASCAR. She's flagged the races. So she has been doing practice and qualifying races leading up to this moment. So we congratulate Tiffany on her big accomplishment today. Now, we had a little bit of an issue when we were in break. The 43 car got high.
Yeah, it looked like Daniel Dye was making moves. You know, we saw Raja and Drew Dollar racing pretty hard here. Got some great momentum off the top side, it looked like, and cleared them both going into turn, and just came back to him after a while.
He was going to decide he was going to run the high side here. We talked about it being
clean.
Pretty dirty up here. Look how sideways he was.
That's a good save. It's a good lesson for later in the race.
And gave those positions right back that he just grabbed.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Got a twofer and then back to the averages.
Great save.
No, it's perfectly saved that car, and perfectly fine to be able to do that. You know, you got to test the limits, and like I said to start the race, you want to be able to move around and understand where the grip is and where the grip isn't. And he was able to make a pass running up high, and obviously gave it back.
Hey guys, I know where the limit is now. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely knowing where that limit is. That's what he's trying to find out. Daniel Dye is saying it's really free, and that's an obvious. He says it's not going where I want to. Derek Nealon and the team says don't go full dump mode. Do not push it. You're going to make that free worse. So as Austin, you're saying a lot of learning now for later on in the race.
Nice spotter advice there.
No, it's what the spotter's for. A lot of the time it's for therapy, especially when you get kind of singled out here. And you got to be able to, give your driver information where other people might be running, and if it's normal, because I think he's probably the first one to go up there really since truck practice. So it is still a little bit dusty. There's not as much rubber down there, and like I said before, you're able to make big gains and big losses there for sure.
Austin, as we take a look at our leader, Corey Heim, I've seen some drivers send some spotters to therapy too. It goes the other way too.
Yeah, the lap traffic here is getting pretty challenging as they're working through here for sure.
So Corey Heim continues to lead. Drew Dollar, though, making up a couple of those spots he had lost in the 18. Let's go on board.
Austin and I were talking about his lap times were very, very, very good. Very much similar to what Corey Heim was running. You see him just drive down to the inside. Nick Sanchez moves up to the middle of the racetrack. Drew able to get back to the throttle, out of the throttle just briefly. Going to pull beside him as we get towards the start finish line. Remember, no out of bounds here. You can go below that white line, and he was able to do that and make the pass. Nice move by Drew Dollar.
I'm sure Drew's trying to figure out where the limits are in his car. Obviously, that car's expected to have some speed, but looks like it's able to hold on to the tires pretty well as Nick's kind of starting to fade.
What a fun position to be in if you're a guy like Drew Dollar, who you just jump in for a handful of races. He's filling in for Sammy Smith, who will be taking over that ride full-time the second half of the year. But to be in the situation where you don't have to worry about points, you're just here to win races, right?
Speaking of lap traffic, these guys are
getting a little crowded.
Getting close.
That's Ron Vandermeyer in the 27, the 12 of DL Wilson. Started in the back of the field to start the race because he slowed up on the back stretch.
Caution out.
And caution is out for the first time as you see the debris on track. Well, Corey Heim has led them all. Drew Dollar, Nick Sanchez, Raja Caruth, your top four. We're 22 laps in. More from Kansas after this. Welcome back to the Dutch Boy 150 on FS1. Beautiful shot of Kansas City. About 20 minutes from Kansas Speedway. It's a hot day. You could tell in that picture right there. It's about 86 degrees, humid. We're having a good time today, and with it getting so hot, everybody's thinking about vacation. Well, so are the ARCA Menards drivers. Here's the General Tire driver profile.
It's been a while since I've gone on vacation, so I guess somewhere like Cancun would be really cool, you know, somewhere on the beach.
Besides a racetrack, I would definitely say, you know, back home to the Bay Area. I haven't seen my family in a little bit, so I feel like if I had to go anywhere, I'd go back home.
Maybe Wakanda or Madagascar or the moon. The Galapagos Islands. Those look very cool.
I've always wanted to go to Australia, so that'd be cool.
Maybe anywhere from Miami to South Carolina to the Gulf. The beach is definitely where I'd like to land.
I'd probably want to go to the West Coast, the desert. I don't know, growing up in Miami, I never really saw much of that, so I always thought that was pretty cool.
There's no place I'd rather be than behind the wheel of a race car. Honestly, if I could be transported anywhere, it would just be past a few cars that are ahead of me and right there to victory lane. Now, shortly after the victory, you know, if I go to Fiji or something like that, I wouldn't complain about it.
Well, I would like to stay in Kansas because I definitely wouldn't want to miss my race. But after the race, back into Canada so I can see my friends and family, that'd be pretty cool.
All right, some good places there. I don't know about Gustine saying the racetrack, though. Fiji was a little better.
He wanted to be transported ahead of a few cars, so I like what Gustine said.
That would be a vacation.
Yes.
How about you, Austin? Where would you go?
I tell you what, there's a lot of similar answers there for me. Mostly every driver said, well, if it wasn't the racetrack, because this is the best place on earth, in my opinion, is going to the racetrack, having a chance to do what you love. So, you know, I think Tony was one of them that's like, if I didn't go to the racetrack, I'd go somewhere else. But otherwise, it'd be the racetrack.
Yes. Well, speaking of Gustine in the 15, some damage here as we're under caution for the first time today. Let's see what happened. Yep.
It's not a small piece either.
No, that was a huge piece. Look,
wow.
It did a lot of damage to the nose of that Camry.
Talking about being a fast racetrack, you know, that damage is certainly going to hurt how that car's driving. Should probably take quite a bit of front downforce off that car.
Where that debris was laying was probably tough for a spotter to see, and he just collected it, paying the price there. Well, we didn't have many takers. One, I believe, Kate.
Yeah, learning about talking to Shane Huffman there, the crew chief, they're doing some changes, some swings for them. That car is too free for Connor Mozak, so it's an adjustment, that track bar wedge and some air. It's too free coming off the wall, an injury, he said. Now, that is a team that Connor feels that he's pretty confident. It's a brand new car underneath him that Brett Holmes has put together. And of course, as they're trying to work out the car itself and make it more comfortable for him, they're trying to get some analytics and understand what that car is really all about.
I like stopping now. We know we're going to have a competition caution in about 25 laps. Let's take a swing at it right now, see if we can make it better. If we go the right direction, then we know we can go more during that competition caution. I like bringing it in now if you're struggling.
Yeah, he certainly seemed to be able to have enough speed to keep it in the top 10 even while they were struggling. So I'd be curious, Kate, if they took tires, but otherwise, just to see how much that's worth this far into the race.
Yeah, there's a couple of brand new race cars out there. She just mentioned one of them. Gus Dean. The other, with the damage, was a brand new race car that they brought to the track.
You know, Kansas is 1.5 miles. This is considered one of the super speedways, and we have a little bit of a point system within the ARCA Menard Series point system, the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. You can see these are the 7 races that make up the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. Corey Heim won Daytona, Nick Sanchez, that we just talked about earlier, won Talladega. Then we have Kansas here, Charlotte in a couple weeks, Pocono, Michigan, and the second race here in September. And this goes to the owner of the team. So you don't have to have the same driver to win this championship. You can have different drivers, because we know that Corey Heim is going to give way with that car eventually, as will Drew Dollar, so with the 18 cars. So this is something for the owners to win, and it's a great battle usually every year.
Yeah, so 7 super speedway races will crown the team with the highest total points at the end. So it's a championship within a championship, and you could keep it right here on FS1 and follow along the rest of the season. See who ends up on top.
More reasons to win.
That's right.
We heard Drew Dollar shutting his car off. I don't think it's a situation that they're any danger of running low on fuel to get to lap 50, but I think it's still a good plan. You know, shut the engine off or whatever, save fuel, because you never know when you're going to have to save fuel. So Drew Dollar will do some more Xfinity races this year, so I think it's a good plan to get him in the practice of trying to save fuel.
Yeah, I mean, as a driver in the Cup Series, you do that often, whether if it's saving fuel or even saving temperature in the motor. Obviously, these cars have tape on the grill, so being able to save temperature, maybe he's running too hot, or even getting the temperatures lower for a restart. So I think it's a great habit to be in for sure. So interested why he would, probably not saving fuel right now, but it's a good habit to be in.
I'm going to note that the number 27, Ron Vandermeyer, is our free pass. He's in 11th spot now, back on the lead lap.
Corey Heim decided he liked the outside of the first try, so he's going to do it again.
We saw some good lap times out of Drew Dollar. We talked about it earlier before that caution came out. So I'm going to be really curious to see if Drew can hang with Corey here. He was matching his lap times, sometimes even bettering his lap times right before the caution came out.
Yeah, what I'm really looking here on the restart is what the 2 and the 6 can do to influence the front row. It's a pretty big, long run up. I'm sure it's probably wide open through 1 and 2. So what that push is like you're going to get is going to be pretty important to which one of these leaders gets out front.
Rev Racing teammates side by side on the second row. Thank goodness Nick Sanchez has that big orange number. Help us distinguish the difference. As green flag is back in the air and Corey Heim leads them.
What a great restart by Drew Dollar.
I said Corey Heim leads it. That was a great jump, as you noted, by the 18 of Drew Dollar. I think he's found his rhythm.
Corey's not going to like that. He grabbed some quarter panel and he's keeping it really tight.
Who's going to hang right in there? Yeah. What a great battle here.
See who's going to lift first into turn 3. Still side by side. Corey's got that air right off of his door. Going to get a good run off the top. Might clear him. Finally gets him off of turn 4. It's a good job by Drew hanging in there on that restart. He still should be close and have a chance.
Corey Heim officially retains the lead there, and Drew Dollar second.
Sanchez and Caruth third and fourth.
Rajah Caruth, I talked to him after practice, and he was so down on himself. It's his first time here. He said, everybody has experience here except for me, and I just don't know how hard I can push it into the corner. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And it was all about his line, Austin. He wasn't confident in what he was doing in that practice session.
Yeah, and that's what the series is all about, is learning those lines. And there's only so much you can do to prepare yourself for that, but really to understand the racetrack, feel the grip. And I like what I've seen out of Rajah, just watching him today. Like, he isn't afraid to move around, isn't afraid to try different lanes, see where the grip is, because that's the only way you're going to do it, is get that experience. And especially when you know there's caution coming, you're comfortable with where you're running out on the racetrack. That's what you got to do to find yourself and be able to put yourself in the right positions. When you do get a run on somebody, you do have the chance to use your momentum to an advantage and try and make a pass.
Good battle for 7th spot. That's Greg Van Alst in the 35. Connor Mosack, we've talked about him quite a bit today, in the 23 for Brett Holmes Racing.
Just as I say that, we got Rajah making a really great run off the top on 1 and 2. I'd like to see him do it again.
15 at Gus Dean. He has that damage on the right front.
He's got some on the right rear now to match that.
But some debris fell off the right rear of that 15 machine.
The teammates racing really hard for position here with the 6 and the 2.
Looks like Rajah has a little more speed right now than Nick does.
Yeah, he's been running that high side just like what I was talking about. He was able to get a really big one off of 1 and 2, and Nick tried to half cover it and didn't quite make up the speed, and they blocked each other all the way down the straightaway. It's tough groundwork with your teammates, but now he learned something from his teammate. Oh, he lifted for him. Woo! Lifted for him, probably because it was his teammate.
Great action. Kate?
Well, in fact, Nick Sanchez was telling me about Rajah that he's very calculated and cautiously aggressive as a driver. You can see some of that right now, but what got Rajah to this point? Well, in fact, it was his team saying, don't be greedy. We still have a whole lot of laps left. And in fact, they're still working on lingo. Austin, you're talking about that this is a learning game for these drivers. And in fact, that is true. He had that fan on, and the team was like, why do you have the rear fan on? And he was like, well, that's what I've had on since lap 5. And they said, cut that thing off. We don't need that. And he also then was adding to the fact that he doesn't want the team to work much on this car. It's free, but it's drivable, and that's what we're seeing out of Rajah.
Thank you, Kate. In the 15, Gus Dean still holding on to 5th right now, as he's side by side with Daniel Dye for that 5th spot. But Gus, going back to him brushing the wall, and you saw some of the debris fall off. That's something you love about the flange fit bodies, because that would have been a cut tire if it was the old Cup car, but he's still trucking top 5 right now, as he just moved back, slipped back a spot to 6th.
Yeah, same thing with the composite bodies on the Xfinity cars. It's amazing how durable those bodies are.
Even with a little bit of damage on his front fender there, he's obviously still able to make some lap time. It's probably going to hurt him more in dirty air, honestly, with that loss of downforce than anything else. But still able to keep running. Otherwise, that'd be a crumpled fender for sure.
Well, we're 36 laps into a 100-mile race here. Corey Heim, Drew Dollar, Rajah Caruth, your top 3. And Corey Heim continues to lead here at Kansas Speedway. And we had a battle between teammates, Rajah Caruth and Nick Sanchez, but Rajah had a little moment.
It was more of a battle between Rajah and a lap car. Zachary Tinkle absolutely got in the way, and that allowed, look at the momentum that Nick Sanchez had as he drives by. Rajah had opened up a pretty good cushion over Nick, and he came off of turn 4, and Zachary Tinkle just moved up in front of him. He had to slam the brakes on.
Good heads up right there. Maybe a Reese's Sweet move of the race. What do you think? Well, tomorrow you can vote yourself at 9 a.m. Eastern. Head on over to the ARCA Menards Series Twitter page. That's ARCA_racing. And you can vote on what moment you think was the Reese's Sweet move of the race. That could be one of them, and perhaps we'll get a couple more here.
I wanted to see it again. I wanted to see where Rajah really had to slam on the brakes coming off the corner. See there, that's Nick, and that. See, watch 06 in the middle of the racetrack. And look how fast that Rajah was coming. And it really on the ball to be able to stop to keep from running in the back of Zachary Tinkle.
That angle was great. Gave you a really good feel.
Now that's my sweet move. That's my nomination. Okay. Early nomination.
All right.
If you're Rajah, you hated to see that lap car move up, because he kind of pioneered the outside lane, made it work, made his passes. He and Nick had a great battle. He won the battle, starting to drive away, and now he's back behind his teammate. And he showed his teammate what to do.
And just reminder, I mean, the fastest lap of this race, 172 miles an hour. These guys aren't driving 55 and checking up on somebody. They're going for it. Kate, what are you hearing?
Well, Corey is being told what the speeds are of the other drivers. And of course, although he's fast, he is saying, my car is pretty darn tight here, guys. They're advising him to turn the left fan on and keep running. They're going to try and make some changes here in that competition caution.
So it's the first time I've actually seen Corey Heim move up the racetrack today, and he picked up a lot of speed moving up from the bottom.
Yeah, Austin and I were watching in the lap times. Each lap, Drew Dollar was gaining on Corey Heim, and I'm sure he got that word that he was what the speeds were, but the guys behind him moved up the racetrack, and now he's setting some blistering laps.
Well, and explain exactly, you know, you always hear when drivers are tight, they want to move up. There's simply less wheel input at that point. Helps the drivability of the car.
Yeah, you're just helping momentum. You know, this is a huge momentum racetrack, and I think the other thing is that it is progressively banked. So each time you move up a lane, you get more banking, more grip, more relief on the tires, and it's just a lot easier to keep the throttle down.
Well, you heard Corey Heim waiting for that competition caution to come out so he can fix up that race car and make those needed adjustments. And that can come out at any time at or around lap 50.
I think Corey made the adjustment already. He may not need an adjustment now. He made his own adjustment. See, Rajah's got Nick in his sights again, going to dive down to the bottom. I'm not sure that Nick isn't in the preferred line right now, Austin, up high.
And the tough part is when race cars move up to the top and get singled out up there, it's really difficult in dirty air, so you do have to look around for other lanes, and that's something that's beginning to be a characteristic at Kansas. You know, you can only go so high, so trying to deal with dirty air, you know, he's following in the wake of Nick Sanchez's car, so he's kind of offset left, offset right, trying to find where that clean air is, and you know, diving down to the bottoms. Obviously not the preferred lane, not where Rajah's been able to make his lap time, so where he's splitting that seam there, that's just him trying to put a bunch of air on the left front fender, trying to get that car turning, but obviously he's not able to close the gap now that he's gotten close to him again.
I think you made up a great point, though. This racetrack is progressively banked. It's 16 degrees at the bottom, up to 20 degrees at the top.
Here, yellow's out. I got a car inside of you here, yellow.
And yellow is out.
We're hearing debris
again. Second time today, debris caution. It'll also be the competition caution, so the pits will be open. They can come in for service. It's modified live pit stops coming up. Stay tuned. More from the Dutch Boy 150 after this.
Suits
Raceway, we're under caution for the second time. Now let's take a look at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap. Nice save by the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Right up against the wall, too.
That was awesome.
Really nice save. Close moment here for the 27 of Vandermeer and D.L. Wilson. In the 12, they made a little bit of contact.
See the debris
flying off. Really hurting Gustine's chances of optimizing that race car, the number 15.
That his guys will be able to make some adjustments. And watch this, Rajah Caruth
on the brakes,
running about 30 miles an hour faster than Zachary Tinkle. Zachary moves up the racetrack right in front of him, ends up costing Rajah a position, but it could have cost him a car. Great job by Rajah avoiding that.
Hear both your voices get elevated in that.
Yeah.
I think that's leading the sweet move of the race right now.
Absolutely.
But it's been all about that man right there, Corey Heim. He's led all but one lap today. Now, reminder, these are modified live pit stops in the ARCA Menard series. They're on a 5-minute clock. They could take fuel and tires, but not simultaneously. They can make those adjustments, track bar wedge, air pressure.
Only 4 men over the wall, or 4 true men over the wall. And they will retain their positions. The positions they came in on the pit road is how they will restart this race.
Yeah, and people saw maybe the truck race or cup race at the Bristol Dirt Race.
Exactly.
They did the exact same thing. Kate.
Well, you could see there the number 20 is looking mighty fine heading out back out on track. That was left tires first. They want to take a pound out of those left rear, and then the rest of the tires plus fuel for that number 20. And of course, they're now saying that it's actually pretty comfortable. The 18 car, they're going to free it up for this long run. Drew says I can run at the top. That car was bottoming out, though. Thinks it's a skirt on the left side, so that is something that they're working on their 18. And then number 2 of Nick Sanchez. He says he needs a little bit more rear grip and definitely a whole lot of water. It's very hot out there. He's saying adjust that rear air pressure and track bar to get that fuel back like it was feeling in practice. So Nick is looking and seeking a practice feel, guys.
Thank you, Kate. And you hear that about Kansas. The handling can go away in these cars. Saw a lot of adjustments there. We'll line him back up and drop the green flag again after this. FS1 is brought to you by General Tire. Anywhere is possible. By Reese's, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's, not sorry. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And the ARCA Menards Series. This is race number 4 of 20. Let's take a look at the remaining races on the schedule. You see the ones in yellow. You'll see those right here on FS1. Charlotte Motor Speedway coming up in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we just love going to Charlotte Motor Speedway, but what a diverse schedule. We've got a couple dirt tracks, road course, Mid-Ohio, and this has always been a very diverse schedule, and this is someplace that these guys can get, and girls can get, a lot of good experience on all sorts of racetracks. You wouldn't have thought 5 years ago that we need to worry about dirt track racing, but now we've got dirt track racing in the trucks, dirt track racing with a cup car, so the dirt track racing experience that these drivers get is valuable.
This whole series is so valuable. Like you said, it's so diverse. Well, we just saw pit stops there. I mean, the 20s, lap times were falling off a bit. What do you think after a round of pit stops here? Do you think the 18 Drew Dollar, maybe Nick Sanchez, has something for him?
I want to see if they really were able to get some short run speed out of the 18 car. I think he proved that he was one of the few cars that could really keep up with Corey Heim at different points in the run. Obviously, Corey's been dominant in this race. Even when it looked like he was a bit vulnerable on the restart, he went and took it back. And it's been a lot of fun to watch the Rev teammates as well. They've been racing the crap out of each other, and it's been fun to watch.
Well, the time is ticking down at this point. We've got a half a race left here. What do you think? There's an extra set of sticker tires down there, and when will we see those used?
Well, I think if we get a late caution flag, we talked to Billy Venturini down in the garage area this morning. He said, I would put them on if we had a 2-lap shootout. So I think all those drivers and teams want to keep those tires just in case we get a late caution flag.
Definitely. Let's check in once again with Kate.
Truest form of miscommunication for GMS Racing here. Daniel Dye just came back in for spring rubber that had to go in that left rear. He had to get fuel, and they tightened that thing up. But again, it was just on the basis of miscommunication on the team.
Thank you, Kate. So they got their spring rubber in. We have some other things to clean up from pit stops. The 25, Tony Breidinger pitted too soon. We had a tire get away. Not sure who that came off of. Got it all buttoned back up. We'll line them up. Corey Heim in the 20. Clear vision again, but Drew Dollar wearing him out in that 18.
Yeah, he got a great jump on that last restart. I'll be interested to see if he can do it again, or what Corey decides to change up in the zone. And same thing as last time. You know, which one of these Rev teammates can give the right push or work their lane forward on the restart, because it's critical as you're getting up to speed. You know, they're drag racing basically all the way to turn 3 until one of them decides to lift.
Austin, we're getting ready for this restart. There you see Daniel Dye back on pit road. We're getting a report that he's had multiple penalties. He changed tires and put fuel in at the same time, which is a no-no. So I think he might come to the ARCA officials are probably going to hold him a lap, so he will restart this race a lap down. And they're getting ready to restart, so if they don't release him till after the field goes by, then he's going to be a lap down and have no track position to try to be that first car 1 lap down.
Unfortunately, Daniel now is already thinking he needs a couple cautions to get back in the game here for sure.
Daniel Dye, one of those teams racing for the championship. He's got a 3rd place finish at Daytona, 2nd place at Phoenix, 17th at Talladega. He's been dealing with some personal issues and now mistakes in the race today.
Remember, he was battling for the lead at Talladega, and that caution flag basically ended the race. He was trying to take the lead, actually technically was leading at that time, got together with the car on the inside. But they have a fast car, as Austin said. He's going to need a couple caution flags to get back into this.
That's got to be a sickening feeling, knowing the field is coming back to green. Green flag is in the air.
A pretty good push here by Roger to the 20 car. See if he might want to take it. Maybe not. Stay too wide. Nick wants to take it, though. He's peeking out. Side by side again, going through the corner. Really great battle. Great restart on both lanes.
Remember, new tires on these cars right here.
I love that shot. You see all the yellow bumpers. That means I'm a rookie coming through.
The last 24 races in the ARCA Menard Series, as we see a great side-by-side battle, Drew, but just a bit of an advantage, not for long. The last 24 races, won.
Oh! The leader's wrecked. 18. Drew Dollar gets into the 20 of Corey Heim. They're both wrecked in the infield. You heard it there, frustration on the radio as the caution waves for the third time today.
And that's the tough part. They were racing really hard for the lead. You know, Corey was right on the door of the 18 car. And we got a lot of laps left in the race, but be interested to see who slipped first there. And obviously contact just ran out of racetrack coming off the corner.
Yeah, a lot of damage on Corey's car for sure. I don't see that much damage from this side. Looking at our broadcast position, look at the
car's killed.
There's right front damage to the 20, as well as obviously you can see all the rear damage, the deck lid dragging along but behind the car.
That one's going to hurt the 20. What a great race car. I mean, he was the dominant car today, but we also knew that the 18 was right there with them. And now the two best cars today wrecked.
So they got the end result of the drag race here, and Corey's just taking all the air off the side of the 18. He just got a little loose. There's a bit of a gap, and that's the thing. New tires, talking about freeing up the race car. You've got new tires. The track's been changing. You get the first try to get back out there, and obviously the 18 was just a little too free, and wasn't any room.
Listen to the throttle. Listen to the throttle here.
Oof. Wow.
I don't think there's a lot of damage to the 18 car. He got into the 20, pushed the 20 into the wall.
Should be a good view from Sanchez at the front. Nick says thank you.
Yep.
Reese's sweet move right there. Heads up by Nick Sanchez, was able to split the difference, go right between the middle.
Just so vulnerable when you're on the inside here. Full of fuel. We got a lot of rear weight. See him get loose. He's just chasing up the racetrack and finally runs out of room, runs into Corey Heim.
Yeah, in Corey's defense, I would say he entered the corner on his door, and there was a decent amount of a gap there between both the cars. I think it's just tough racing, close racing gone bad, and obviously a little bit of a loose moment for the 18 on stickers.
But each team doesn't feel the same way you do.
Absolutely not.
There's two polar opposite opinions on what happened right there.
There's we got wrecked and we wrecked.
Yeah.
There is his side, and the truth. So
tough
Nick
wreck,
Sanchez right now in the two shown as the leader. 35, a Greg Van Alst, the free pass there.
His crew chief and car owner, Billy Venturini, said, boy, we had the best car today, and now we have the front tore off and the rear tore off.
And he's just filling in as crew chief. He used to do this all the time, but Shannon Rush, normal crew chief, is away. His daughter's graduating college, and they just said, that's it. Car is done. Corey Heim's day is over.
Yeah, it's obviously frustrating when you feel like you got the best car in the field and aren't able to see the end of the race with it. So, but that's how it goes.
Well, there is an epic battle that brews every single week between Venturini Motorsports and Kyle Busch Motorsports, which is the 18. They want to beat each other so bad. There is that rivalry, and it's fun to watch, but in situations like this, they're going for it.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see
there was no intent there whatsoever. No. None whatsoever.
Racing hard.
Absolutely.
And Kate is there.
Yeah, Billy Venturini, you are visually disappointed and upset. You're saying you'll give an interview. Give it to us.
Well, I mean, I know how David Gilliland feels. Like, Drew wrecks all your shit when he's driving for you, and then he wrecks it all when he's racing against you. So I can understand why he punched him in the eye over at Bristol last year. Just typical bonehead move by Drew. He's killed a couple of my cars here, and now he's killed one and wasn't even driving for it. I mean, just look at it. Just pure lack of talent. Great kid, does not need to be a race car driver. He's got a lot of other things he can probably do and make a good living.
That's Billy Venturini, car owner of Venturini Motorsports, and on the box for Corey Heim.
We apologize for that language, but obviously he's very frustrated as a team owner. It's a lot more on the line.
Emotions and passions run high in this sport. That's the thing. I mean, you can tell how much winning that race, having a chance to win this race.
This is their life.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is what they live for.
Absolutely. And the 20 and 18 were 1-2 every lap since lap 16 of this race. Definitely the two best. Let's get the other side. Let's talk to Corey Heim.
First and foremost, Corey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Yep.
Did you, from your point of view, I know you said you haven't seen it yet, but from your point of view in the car, what'd you see?
I gave him plenty of room, I thought. You know, in 1 and 2, we were side drafting each other pretty hard, but I raced Drew with a lot of respect, and Drew's a close friend of mine, so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it just looks like he lost it, and it's just part of it. So, yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose. I mean, he's trying to go for the win. It is what it is.
It's a resetting day for Corey Heim as he has to get in the truck race here later today.
Yes, good point there. And he mentioned it. They're good friends. I mean, that's got to be the tough part of being friends with your competitors.
Absolutely, and I think the one thing from that camera angle too, you saw when Drew had a big wiggle, Corey actually moved up the racetrack, saw it coming, did give him space. So just a tough racing deal. I mean, they're racing each other really hard on every single restart so far, and that track position does mean a lot. And unfortunately, with a lot of laps left, two best cars are out of the race.
Well, they're going for it, and they both want to win. They're both here for wins, and that's it. They're not looking at the big picture of points and going for a championship at this point.
I don't think we can count out the 18 yet. The 18's still on the lead lap. They have new tires on it. There he is riding around under this caution. I think he still may be a contender.
The man in black right there. He's shown right now 1 lap down in 9th. Tough break for Corey Heim. You don't see these moments from him very often. Such a talented race car driver, and it shows. He's driving for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Truck Series. He's in almost all of them except for the 5 races that Kyle Busch is doing.
Yeah, it was a pretty mature interview he gave there too. I mean, he's obviously got another race today, and something else to look forward to, and that's always nice to have. But obviously, you know, he's racing for wins here and had a car capable of doing it, and he's got to clear his head and go into the next thing.
And he'll be a contender tonight in that truck race as well.
Starting second tonight.
Well, coming up after the ARCA Menard Series race, it's a star-studded showdown on FS1 as Manny Machado and the Padres take on Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves right here on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. I was a big Padre fan back in the day. I went to San Diego State. Great team to root for back then.
1984. I liked when they got beat by the Tigers in the World Series.
I'm not that old, Phil. I don't remember 84. I mean, I was around for it, but. And Austin, I don't want to hear anything from you.
I got nothing.
You weren't even a twinkle
yet.
yet.
Wasn't a thought. I don't think my parents had even met yet.
So we're 63 laps, and we have 37 laps to go. We've had 5 lead changes among 4 different drivers. Cautions come out now 3 different times as we continue under caution here, and work continues on the 18.
Yeah, the 18 stayed on the lead lap for a while, then I think Mark McFarland decided to go ahead and spend the time on pit road, making sure the car was right. Lost a lap. Fast enough car, he should be able to get a free pass. Again, he's in the same situation Daniel Dyer was in. He's going to need a couple cautions to get back in this thing.
Yeah, and 2 unfortunate things. One here, I think Mark's trying to make sure his car has enough clearance with the tires. Obviously, the car goes through a lot of travel and doesn't want the tire to cut down because this is also his last set of tires. So it's kind of got to make that last. And Drew has had a long run car today, so you never know. He could get back on the lead lap and be able to run up in the top 5, but obviously not ideal.
Look at our top 10 right now. Things are completely open and reshuffled here. I mean, one that stands out, Gus Dean in the 15. They've had time to really work on that car. He had damage earlier, got into the wall after that, but still there, still a lot of speed.
I'm excited because we've watched these teammates race each other really hard. We got Will Kelmo up in the top 5 now, back in the series. I think we got a good race on our hands.
Yeah, we had a couple cars take the wave around prior to the restart after the competition caution, and it worked for him.
All teammate front row, Nick Sanchez, Raja Carew.
See how hard these guys decide to race each other. It's like I said, it's been fun to watch them today and kind of learn off of each other. Have a side draft battle all the way to turn 3 here, see who comes out on top.
It's like Gus Dean is moving around to take the 3rd spot, moving around Connor Mosack.
Nick Sanchez just heard the best word possible. Clear. Take it.
And these drivers don't have a whole lot of time. We talked about it. They had 45 minutes on the track earlier today. So you have 2 teammates like Raja and Nick. They get along so well. They share data. The cars are so identical when they unload at the racetrack, and they can bounce ideas off each other. And it shows each time out now. These 2 are running together.
I was talking to some of the guys down in the garage here, and they're actually getting some help from Chevrolet with this team, and the drivers are getting some time in the simulator, so that's certainly helping them. And it's no secret why these 2 guys are running well. They're getting some help from Chevrolet, spent some time in the simulator, and have great race teams.
And that's when you can go try things. You know, I've talked about it today already. You know, Raja's been able to move around different lanes and learn how to run up high. And make passes and make speed while doing it. And you can do that on the simulator without, you just push the reset button if you put it in the wall. Like, there's no issues with that. So you can actually get a good feel of the lay of the land and, how the cambers and the track change. Because when we say it's progressive banking, it's not a smooth transition. Each one of those lanes is a little bit different.
Yeah, Drew Dollar's about 3/4 of a lap behind, also a lap down, and his lap times are way, way off. So obviously more damage to that car than appeared.
Saw a shot of Will Kimmel. What a great story this is, Phil. Seeing Will in the field today and this opportunity that Scott Melton gave to him. If you remember back, you were with us at Talladega. We had a horrific crash, and we got a car in the wall right past the start-finish line.
18 car, I think.
Yeah, it's Drew Dollar.
Drew Dollar. He was involved earlier on. Now, I would say that car is killed.
Yeah, that's going to be a big break for Daniel Dye. That will put him back on the lead lap.
Sorry, guys.
And they brought him down again, just trying to pull those fenders, make sure everything was good, but obviously still had his issues.
Yeah, with where he hit on the front straightaway, obviously it looked like a right front tire went down. And
could have been a fender brace or something like that cut that tire down.
We'll take a look at it on the other side, but right now, Nick Sanchez is your leader. 32 laps to go from Kansas.
Menards is the Midwest's ultimate.
By Sprecher, Fire Brewed Craft Soda, the official craft soda of ARCA. And by Dutch Boy Paint, available exclusively at Menards. And we are under caution for the 4th time today for the 18 of Drew Dollar. That is the aftermath as he takes it back to the garage. So he is officially out. Let's take a look back at what happened from his onboard.
Yeah, as Austin sounded like a right front. You see the right front tire is down. It didn't blow out, but it obviously lost air. He realized that, but unfortunately couldn't get it slowed down in time to keep from hitting the outside safer barrier.
That was a big hit.
It was a big hit.
yeah, it was unfortunate. Kind of compound fracture on that day. Just a lot of damage, and probably didn't get a tire fully clear on that last stop. And
so Drew Dollar officially out, Corey Heim as well. Let's drop back to the 10th place car, Amber Balkin. She's our rookie spotlight, brought to you by Bounty. First year in the ARCA Menards series.
It's a great 12th place run at Talladega. Our last time out, just outside the top 10. Right now running in the top 10. That would be a big, big day for Amber if she could close this out with a top 10 finish.
She's so ambitious. I love her attitude. She raced a super late model for Kyle Busch Motorsports back in 2018. She's raced all different cars, so adjusting to the ARCA Menards series lifestyle over here, what it's like to race full time here. And Tony Breidinger there running 12th right now.
She has certainly an outside shot at the top 10, a little more attrition.
I'm sure she's
being shown
at
a couple laps down right now.
Yeah, I'm sure she's looking for a quiet day after Talladega for sure.
She was sore for a while after that. That was the biggest hit of her career, she said. She actually has a race here. She raced in this race, I believe, a year ago, finished 12th. An Venturini Motorsports car. Really good equipment. She's running full time.
Had that top 10 at Daytona earlier this year.
And the free pass there is the 43 of Daniel Dye, now on the lead lap, showing an 8th position.
I think Daniel has enough speed to make it in the top 5 and maybe even get it to the top 3, depending on how many cautions we got. Him getting back on the lead lap, just like we talked about when they got. I mean, there was only 20 minutes ago they were sitting on pit road getting held for a lap, and here we are with a shot. You know,
yeah,
life happens fast.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think he's certainly a contender for the top 5.
So the full-time drivers in the field, Sanchez, Carruth, 1-2 right now. You've got Greg Van Alsten 7th, and then Daniel Dye in 8th. They're all battling for a championship, and they're paying attention to where each other are on the track.
I love some of these stories that we talked about. Will Kimmel earlier, and how about the 10 car of Ryan Huff running in the top 5 right now? Great run for Andy Hillenberg's car.
Where misfortune brings opportunity, and
that's right.
And Ryan's making most of it. Their leader picked the bottom here. Nick liked it last time. See if it works out as well again.
Nick Sanchez leads him to the green flag with his teammate to the outside, Rajah Caruth.
Should have another side draft war of teammates here. I think it's whoever gets a nose ahead by the time entering turn 3. Some of it's about timing as a driver. Sometimes you maybe even want to lift to make sure you can put yourself in that position. And Nick's got that spot again. His magic words clear. Rajah's going straight to the top. I'll be interested to see how quickly he can make time up there.
Gus Dean pulls up beside of Rajah right now.
It's maybe a little too early. It's a great opportunity for Nick to get away and Gus to really challenge for a front row restart here.
Yeah, Gus Dean had that damage earlier, ran over a piece of debris, destroyed the right front, got into the wall as well. They fixed him up. He's up there battling for second.
Yeah, Rajah used that momentum off the high side to squirt back out in front of the 15 of Gus Dean. Now Gus Dean goes to the high side.
Rajah told me this morning he couldn't wait to go high. He's one of those drivers that just can't wait to clean the track off first. He's just comfortable running so close to the wall. Well, we talk about Gus Dean in the 15. Let's get to know him a little bit. Been around for a little bit. Born in 1994, Bluffton, South Carolina. 2 career ARCA wins.
And one of those came at Talladega.
Mud trucks, car restoration, and hunting. He's got his hobbies.
Yeah, they were. I don't know how many thousand horsepower that mud truck has. It's incredible.
Sounds like fun. And he's actually getting married this year. His fiance is Briar, and their first date, guess where it was? Take a wild guess.
Racetrack.
Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Love that. Love
Austin, don't do that.
It's the vacation spot everybody wanted to say earlier, okay? Everyone loves the racetrack.
Don't take the girl on a first date to the racetrack.
Yeah,
and don't
probably not my first
propose to
move.
one at a racetrack
Not
either.
my first move.
The 43 at Daniel Dye, you guys thought now that he's on the lead lap, he was going to have a chance to get up in the top 5. He's in 6th already as he moves into the top 5 position there.
You know, we talked about Ryan Huff, what a great run he had going. He had trouble on the restart, did not come up to speed, and then actually had to come to pit road. Now he's being shown 2 laps down outside the top 10.
And Daniel's faster than the 2 cars in front of him as well, so should have a good shot at contending for a top 3 finish. Running really close to the wall there, him getting out of the gas, feathering it. It's fun stuff up there for sure.
Nick Sanchez just been so impressive. He's got momentum on his side. Can Nick Sanchez hang on and take his 2nd win of the year? Welcome back to a beautiful day in Kansas City. Kansas Speedway, it's about 86 degrees. Today's lap leaders brought to you by Sprecher. Corey Heim led 55 laps, and of course he is out of the race now after contact with Drew Dollar. And Nick Sanchez continues to lead. He's led 25 laps so far. Well, Drew Dollar was another car we watched that had hopes of winning this one. He's out of the race. He's standing by with Kate.
Yeah, Drew Dollar saying that he's okay. It's a tough day for you. What happened between you and Corey?
Yeah, just racing incident really there. Made a mistake that took us out of it. Yeah, I know what happened already. Yeah, just tough when someone's on your outside and you get loose. So obviously just a racing deal, a mistake. Hate that I ruined Corey's day and hate that I did that for the guys. Obviously it's a car capable of winning and I messed it up. But hate that happened with Corey. Obviously have a lot of respect for him. I'll talk to him, apologize. Have a lot of respect for him. And he's a good race car driver, so I feel bad about that.
It's a learning curve for Drew Dollar, as is everybody here in the ARCA series.
Thanks, Kate. You could hear it in his voice there. He feels so bad. He made a mistake, he said, and he has nothing but respect for Corey Heim, his friend and fellow competitor.
Yeah, and Corey's interview was much the same. He knew there was nothing intentional there. Just, you see Drew got a little bit loose there and unfortunately got into Corey.
I believe Drew just has one more race scheduled with this team. And Nick Sanchez, look at him go. Rajah Caruth having a great day. Running 2nd, but Daniel Dye. They made the mistakes. He got penalized. He was held. He was down a lap.
That spring rover they put in must have been pretty important.
Yeah,
Got
he's running
speed in that thing.
Running some fast lap times now. He finds himself almost 4 seconds behind, so he needs a caution really, I think, to contend. And, you know, everybody pretty much has a set of tires laying in the pits. So if we do get a caution flag, it would not surprise me to see all these teams running up front to jump down pit road and get some fresh tires.
And Daniel's running as fast as the leaders are right now. He just, like you said, Phil, he just needs a caution, needs to make up that gap, or he needs, you know, Nick and Raja to start racing each other. You know, that it's been fun to watch the 2 and the 6 and their lap times. You know, because when one picks it up, the next guy picks it up. When the next guy picks it up, he picks it up. And I think the most entertaining thing for me is watching these guys push the limit right up against the wall. Even Daniel, saw him earlier in the race. You know, he was the first one to go up there, and that's where the speed's at right now. You know, they're you know, a second faster. The top 3 is the second faster than the rest of the field, the next best guys. So, and they're running up top. They're taking the most risk, and they can taste the chance.
Raja is coming. He gained 0.4 of a second the last lap. See what he did this lap. Another 1/10 of a second this lap. So he's certainly got Nick in his sights right now.
And what's going to be tough, like we talked about earlier, it's going to be tough once he starts getting in the wake, getting into the dirty air, trying to figure out, and whether if that's you just apply pressure and hope that Nick makes a mistake, or try and find another lane to make lap time. I'm not sure the track's going to transition that much for you know, 10 more laps, 11 more laps left in this race, but Raja's got the speed, and he's been pushing the limit. You know, I've winced a few times at his entries into turn 1. Have been pretty impressive with as close as he's getting to the wall. And there we go. He's getting dirty air. He needs to find something different, and he's trying to get momentum. Unfortunately, that middle lane, you're just not going to get that momentum. But they're catching lap traffic, and maybe that's a chance for him.
Got to that bubble, got close enough, and then all of a sudden got in that dirtier air and wasn't able to gain. So I love the fact that he moved around, tried to do something different. Didn't gain anything by moving to the middle of the racetrack, but he's got to try something.
Raja Kruth, such a great story from Washington, D.C., was an iRacing kid. 16 years old, he was discovered and given a chance to get in a legend car. And then here he is 3.5 years later racing the ARCA Menards Series, hunting down his teammate for perhaps the first career win. His best finish ever in the ARCA Series, 3rd at Salem.
Yeah, he's been solid all day long, obviously as well as Nick has, but been really impressed with Raja's drive here. You know, he jumped in an Xfinity car and really did a nice job earlier this year. Has a couple more Xfinity races lined up. I think Pocono, he was telling me, is his next Xfinity race. So looking forward to seeing him get another shot in the Xfinity car.
Both of these drivers do their homework. We talked about it at Talladega. Nick Sanchez has leaned on you, Austin. He really loves your style and ability in a race car. He leans on you. Raja leans on Bubba. Talks to anybody who's willing to give him some advice and feedback, and it really shows.
Yeah, I think these guys have been fun to watch for me in that sense. You know, every given weekend in the ARCA Menards Series, they may not be, you know, the best cars. You know, you look at Corey Heim and, you know, that 18 car, and those guys are probably the fastest cars out there. But these guys do a really solid job, keep themselves in contention, and that's why they're both in a position to try and win this race. And that's why they're also, you know, as they would finish right now, they'd be tied for the points lead. And I don't know if that's weighing on anybody's mind right now as well. You know, it's a long season trying to establish yourself and their teammates. So I think all those things are really showing they're doing a great job. And I think every single lap car that Nick runs up on, he's praying they stay to the bottom, because that's honestly how they effectively got swapped. You know, because Raja made a move on him early in the race, was able to get in front of him, and then got hosed by a lap car. And that could very easily happen to Nick here. And as you see, Raja's just trying to find space, trying to find a lane. He wants it so bad.
You could feel it, that back end, that tail's just kind of wagging there. He's hanging on to it, but like you said, he's got to do something different from his teammate.
Yeah, I've started to see him fall off loose as well. I mean, even when he's been running the top, he's been trying to pull off the wall, and he just doesn't quite have the lateral grip to do it. And obviously run his teammate down, run faster laps, maybe wore to stuff a little bit more, and Nick has obviously just been really solid, adapted well to moving up to the top lane and running above that top seam, and he's held on strong so far.
The times that Raja has moved around, moved to the middle of the racetrack, moved to the bottom of the racetrack, there wasn't enough speed there, lost a little bit more ground. You see now he's fallen over a second behind Nick.
Yeah, Nick's really turned up the wick here.
You're poet, you didn't even know it.
Only 5 laps to go. I know, right? 5 laps to go. 7 cars on the lead lap. Greg Van Alst, the last one there. And Will Kimmel in the 69. So we were talking about it going to break, actually before that last caution came out, he got this opportunity because Scott Melton was involved in that huge wreck at Talladega. Compound fracture to his left leg, couldn't race, and called up Will and said, I want you to race my car. For their team, they have a great relationship, and here he is, and he was just ecstatic. Drove the bus or truck himself, brought the race car here himself.
Had 3 flat tires on the way here that he had to change. We'll be back in the car at Charlotte as well. But hey, thank you, Scott. We really appreciate you. Get well soon. We hope to see you back soon.
Absolutely.
Yes, as Nick Sanchez continues his march.
Pretty good string of lap traffic here.
This might be an opportunity.
Absolutely, it's an opportunity for Rajan. He's got to close up that gap. He knows that if he's going to have a chance, he's got to be within a few car lengths to be able to pounce.
Sanchez, Carruth, Dye, Dean, and Mosak, top 5.
So there you go. You got the 69 running in the top lane. Take some air off of him. This should slow Nick down this lap. He's going to go to the bottom to pass him.
Clear, all clear, all clear, you're good. All
Nick
clear.
Sanchez got his first career win here in the fall. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go. Nick Sanchez, that momentum, we knew it was going to be a big weekend for him. He won at Talladega. He has gotten better every single time out on the racetrack. This team has gotten better. Talk about the Chevrolet impact and their help in guiding this young team.
Both of these drivers done a really great job today. I've really loved watching how hard they've raced each other. They've raced each other with respect, and obviously they've had the speed.
Nick Sanchez, 20 years old from Miami, Florida. He wins it at Kansas.
You guys, you're on fire. This car is hot. Holy crap.
That's all we can think about right now.
As long as it's fast, that's all that matters.
That's why he didn't say a word about it until the checkered flag. Won 3 of the last 5 races.
That's some great momentum for him. Congrats to him and that whole team. A 1-2 finish really shows what they're bringing to the table, and having some manufacturer support behind these 2 young drivers. It's fun to see, and it's what makes ARCA Menards series, even stronger when you've got that kind of backing and being able to show up to the racetrack prepared and really execute on it and try and carry. They've both got opportunities to run in the Xfinity series now and get their feet wet. And I guess it sounds like Nick wants to get his feet wet after this because they're really hot right now. But
he needs some ice.
Yeah,
he's ready to do a burnout.
Hats off to Max Siegel. You see his name there, believing in these drivers, building this team, Rev Racing. Nick Sanchez had only led 3 career laps entering today. He led 42 laps in this race.
Nice comeback by Daniel Dye also to come from 2 laps down with penalties to finish 3rd.
This is becoming his moment. Stop it at the finish line. Get that checkered flag. I know his mom is somewhere going crazy right now. That's the thing.
Oh man, he knew he had a shot. That's a picture of a frustrated second place finish.
Raja Carruth, the teammate there, he continues as the point leader though.
And Raja, point lead's fine. That's all great, but I want that W. That's what Raja
He doesn't care about the point lead right
exactly.
now.
We'll add up the points on Monday. Yeah, let's just get the W.
That was a great effort by him. I really enjoyed watching him
for
today.
sure.
Well, Nick Sanchez, he has his helmet off. He's with our Kate Osborne.
2 in a row in the ARCA series and 2 in a row here at Kansas Speedway. Speed meets opportunity once again for you, Nick. How did you stay calm when you knew what was behind you with Raja?
Yeah, honestly, right there, we were just trying to maintain. We weren't trying to burn our stuff up in case we had a caution. But yeah, we lucked out with what happened right there with the 18 and the 20. I feel like we possibly could have beat him at the end on speed, but inevitably we won, so I'm happy.
Why is Kansas suiting your style so well?
I feel like you can move up a lot here. You know, I was utilizing the third groove to stall someone out, so you can't do that at a place at other tracks. So I love Kansas.
And I'm sure there's fans out there that would agree with you that loving Kansas is a good thing too. Now, you also mentioned your feet are so hot. How would you describe the race as a whole?
Yeah, it was. You had to be mistake-free. You know, Raja did not make many mistakes. Corey or Drew, until that, did not make many mistakes. So it was all about restarts and clean air. And we didn't lose a spot in the restart, but I feel like one more restart with those two in the race, we would have gotten them.
Congratulations, Nick Sanchez. 3 out of 5 for the ARCA Menard Series.
Great day for Nick Sanchez. He said you had to be mistake-free, and this team was. Well, how about it? Let's take a look at our Reese's Sweet Move of the Race nominees.
As Daniel Dye grabbing a couple positions there. That was a nice move.
He had a couple sweet moves today, right?
Pretty great battle for the lead here between teammates.
Drew Dollar in the 18. You saw him side by side with Nick Sanchez going around him.
This would ultimately may have given the win to Nick Sanchez. When Rajah Caruth got stuck behind the lap car, Nick took advantage of that, never broke his momentum, grabbed the lead, and never gave it back.
Great heads-up driving, unfortunately, lost the lead.
Remember, tomorrow morning, you can vote on the sweetest move of the race. Go to the ARCA Menards Twitter page. Well, we'll wrap things up from Kansas Speedway and hear from our second place finisher after this.
In Atlanta, we've got Major League Baseball coming up for you shortly. The defending World Series champion Atlanta Braves play host to the San Diego Padres, tied atop the division with the Dodgers. First pitch coming up.
Thank you, Aaron. Yes, wrap things up here. Nick Sanchez goes to victory lane, but it was a hot one. And we saw and heard the drivers talking about how hot it was. See Rajah Caruth, best career finish. Sits on the wall, thinks about the moment that could have been, but then Daniel Dye, he had a day on his hands, and you see him just exhausted emotionally and physically. Let's take a look now at the Dutch Boy final results. What stands out to you?
I think the Rev Racing drivers obviously did a great job. You've obviously got Amber and Tony as well, rounding out top 10. 2 really great, solid drives by both of those girls.
How about Gus Dean with a nice 4th place finish? Connor Mosack with his best career finish, a top 5.
Well, Rajah Caruth, it was a great day for him, and he's standing by with Kate.
A very hot day, like you're saying, Jamie. In fact, Rajah Caruth, oh, and I have a nice ladybug. That's actually good luck. In fact, Rajah Caruth, thank you for letting me know that. But that was your best career finish. Nick had a little something on you there, and you were talking a little about slot cars. What are you making reference to?
Well, Katie, our Max Siegel Chevy was fast today. I can't thank everybody enough on this Rev Racing team. They've worked really hard the last couple weeks getting ready for this, bringing 2 fast race cars. And, you know, it sucks to finish second, but, I mean, can't do much when we're all wide open on the top there. Felt like I was the best car long run, but once we all kind of went to the top, it's really hard to pass. So, did what I could do. I kept it off the wall, got close to it, which is kind of steps that I wanted to look at. So, overall, pretty decent day.
I'd say overall pretty decent day, in fact, for Rajah Caruth. Looking long-term here to win the championship. Jamie?
Thank you, Raj, Kate, and the Ladybug. Well, Austin, it's been great to have you once again. 2 in a row. You're like a seasoned pro here.
Yeah, in both races, Nick Sanchez has won, so maybe he wants me back here more. But no, it was a great race to watch. Obviously, you know, both those guys really did a great job executing this race. And I understand the pain with Rajah, because my one ARCA race here, I lost my teammate. Literally just can't pass him because you're in dirty air. It's the same exact situation. I just got reminded of that. So really fun to watch these guys try and figure it out. It sounds like he made some personal strides throughout the day, and it was fun to watch that progression.
I would like to have seen what would have happened had Corey Heim and Drew Dollar not had the trouble. I would like to have seen if Nick was able to race with them. And I think he could have. I think we had a great battle between the 4 of those guys, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But a great job by Nick as well as Rajah, and a nice comeback by Daniel Dye too.
Yes, and I think Nick said it too. He's like, I just want to see what it would have been like on that final restart if I had anything for those guys. Hey, we'll see you. Your day's not done. We still have Cup Series practice and qualifying coming up at 5 o'clock. You ready for the heat?
See how fast that Menards Ford Mustang is.
That's right. We'll have fun. We'll see you down there. Thank you all for joining us. It's all Nick Sanchez in victory lane. We will wrap things up here from Kansas. Get it to the studio. The hat dance continues in Victory Lane for the Dutch Boy 150.
Hope you all enjoyed that ARCA race from out in Kansas. David, Bobby, and Shannon here with you, getting you ready for all of the action. We got qualifying and practice in the Cup Series coming up, and of course the truck race coming up a little bit later this evening. First off, Sanchez gets his second victory of the season out there at Kansas.
Yeah, he really did. Obviously, he held off his teammate Rajah. You know, and I mean, at one point in time, they come down the front straightaway. He split them. You know, went through.
Yeah.
I think Rajah had let off, so I don't know if that was the pass that really made a difference. But obviously, you know, listen to Rajah's interview. You know, I mean, talking about how he was close to the wall, but you know, didn't get into it. A good second place finish for him.
It was awesome.
Yeah, Corey Heim, I think, had the best car, but was involved in that accident with Drew Dollar early in the race. But what a perfect opportunity for these young drivers to get to race on a track that the Cup cars are getting ready to practice. They get to learn a lot. They're driving fast race cars, 175 miles an hour, Shannon. And, you know, there's Nick standing in Victory Lane, and well, it was a fun race.
Yeah, it was a career best finish for Carew, so it was a great effort out there today. Let's take a look at the schedule for the rest of the day, because as I've mentioned many times today, we've got a full day of racing out at Kansas. Practice and qualifying coming up on FS2. Please note that coming up at 5 o'clock. There's baseball after us here on FS1. Then we've got the Truck Series. Race day kicks off at 7 o'clock. Caitlin Vincey will be here with the guys. And then the truck race at 8 p.m. Tomorrow, of course, we got 400 miles out at Kansas. Here's what the playoff leaderboard looks like in the Cup Series. 10 different drivers have earned victories this season. Of course, the most recent was that guy right there, Joey Logano. 3 wins at Kansas. But of course, what everyone's talking about is how he got it done last week at Darlington.
Last lap. Oh, into the wall. Logano goes by. Wow. You saw it coming. That 24 was loose. He was having to back up in the corner a little bit, but man, he got hit pretty hard there.
Logano from the pole to the checkered flag.
Hell yeah. Nice job. Blue tag, baby. Woo! It's the boys. Yeah!
All right, big win for Joey Logano. Of course, we heard what those guys had to say after the event. Now, we haven't had a chance to talk to you about what you saw on the racetrack. So your thoughts on let's go with the final move from Joey.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I know that, you know, Joey went in there and William hadn't let off because he was getting loose, but Joey didn't even try to pass him. He just went ahead and hit him. Whether it surprised him or not, I don't know. But at the same time, Joey made the comment afterwards. He said, hey, he squeezed me up earlier. I'm just going to race him like that. But I got to thinking about that today before we got here, and I thought, remember when Joey wrecked Matt Kenseth at Kansas in 2015? Matt Kenseth came back a couple weeks later and just cleaned his clock at Martinsville. So will William Byron be that guy? I don't think so. But you got to really race pretty hard. And what we've seen and what we've seen out of William is that he's going to have to really race Joey differently than maybe he does other people.
See, I think this is an interesting conversation to have with these two guys, two of the nice guys on the track, right? I mean, that's absolutely. So we heard William Byron get out of the car. I mean, he had aggressive words, but actions speak louder than words. So what does he now have to do on the racetrack to prove to people that he's not going to be pushed around?
Yeah, you're right, Shannon. And he basically drew that line and he said, you know, I'm not going to take it anymore. But he's got to back that up on the racetrack. And we know William Byron is a super talented, he's a smart race car driver, but he hasn't really been dirty. You don't see him involved in a lot of controversies, but he's got to hold his line and not allow other drivers to treat him dirty. And so for going forward, like Bobby said, he's got to treat Joey Logano different. I don't think he has to go out and intentionally wreck him next week, but the next time they get around each other, he almost needs to scare Joey a little bit and say, look, man, I do remember, and we're not going to have this anymore.
And I asked you earlier today if you've ever done that, and I was surprised to actually hear you say yes, right? Once with Justin Allgaier and then with Martin Truex Jr., right?
Well, you know, over the years, you eventually have to draw that line with different drivers, and the fine folks at Fox have saved these great highlight reels. And yeah, this is back in 2015. Yeah, Truex Brooks raced me really hard for a couple laps and ran me off the track. We were running really good that day, and I just held my line. I said, I'm not going to lift, and ultimately he paid the price, and we got to talk about that the next week at Daytona, and he wasn't happy, certainly in the moment, but I think he understood where I was coming from, Bobby, and I certainly didn't want to go out and intentionally pick fights,
right.
But when people are bullying up on you, you have to draw the line.
And you have to race them like they race you. I mean, you know.
But you've never done something like that before,
I
have
didn't
you?
make the highlight
No,
reel.
see, I told you the nice guys.
That's next episode. Yeah, that's next week.
The nice guys.
I'm nicer than David. But you're rough.
But you do have to hold your line,
You
right?
do have to. I mean, that's the bottom line. And you race people how you want to be raced.
Of course. All right. So we obviously are going to see how this plays out for the rest of the season between these two. It'll start tomorrow in Kansas. We have much more racing coming up here on FS1 and FS2. But coming up next, National League Baseball, we've got the Padres at the Braves. Your Braves.
They need to win tonight.
We'll see you later. Good night, everybody.